Hello goats! Welcome to another character guide. This time we're featuring the foxy... get it? The foxy Yae Miko. She was first revealed as an NPC a long time ago, of course, being related to the Raiden Shogun herself. We later find out that she actually is, or was, the Raiden's familiar. So yeah, that's about her story-wise. Her fox form was always teased, although we only see her ninetails every time that she does her burst. So alright, before anything else, as you know, I'm only just starting up this channel and streaming. So I'd really appreciate it if you could smash that like button and, share the videos that I have here and the channel. And yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already, because more than the character guides, I also showcase practicality tips that would help you out, not just your resin spending, but even potentially your real life spending. So yeah, enough of that. I know you're here because you want to check out Mommy Yae, so let's get right into it. Yae Miko's design is tailored to be an off-field sub-DPS or burst DPS. Let's see why in her talent section. So for normal attacks, standard for a Catalyst user, she does 3 waves of her wand thing, and the charge attack takes a while but it's decent enough, although you'll be prone to interruption here and you won't find yourself using this as much. You'll see it create sort of a line in front of her, so if you're attacking something like a Ruin Guard, it'll be hit twice. Her elemental skill, this is Yae Miko's bread and butter, if you will. So you'll often hear from players that they can just drop Yae's turrets and chill, because pretty much most of the time, her turrets will take care of everything. So you can tap her skill 3 times, and when you tap, she drops her turret to where she lands. So you need to remember that. And by default, she goes backwards, but when you're pressing whichever direction you want her to go, when you activate her skill, she'll go that way. Now, this is important because although it happens very rarely, if you drop 2 turrets at the same spot, the first one will disappear. You also have to link them together, as each one is initially, in a word, independent. You'll see the level based on the rings on each turret, and you have to link them to each other to raise their levels. So of course, naturally, there are 3 levels, and when you link the 3 of them together, all of them will be on level 3. Also, side note that in co-op, only 3 maximum turrets can appear, regardless if you have Yae Miko party members. For example, there's 4 of you, only 3 turrets can be active at one time. And unlike Fischl, Yae's turrets don't generate as much energy orbs, so you can't rely too much on them. Now, her elemental burst. Yae Miko's burst is an actual quote-unquote burst because she nukes a small AoE in front of her. I've probably wasted a lot of Yae Miko's bursts in the Abyss because I wasn't paying attention to its direction. So what's more annoying is the cost of this burst is 90. Anyway, so when she uses her burst, she unleashes 1 lightning strike, and if you have existing turrets, they will be destroyed, converting them into so-called Tenko Thunderbolts. Each turret destroyed will be 1 Tenko Thunderbolt, so make sure that before you use your burst, use your skills first, 3 of them, and then burst, and so it destroys the turrets, right? And resets your skill. So you can use your skill again and swap to another character. So this reset happens because of the passive talent, which technically resets 1 charge. So that's 1 charge per 1 turret destroyed. Now, the other passive is an increase in her turret damage. So that's 0.15% for every elemental mastery. So please consider this as a bonus only and not something that you should build around. Because of Yae's kit, we want to give her offensive weapons for the most part. So let's start with the 4-star weapons. Although we did say that building EM isn't something that you need to focus on, you can use the Mappa Catalyst for its passive, but you have to trigger elemental reactions. And if you were around during the release of the Inkanomiya region, we have the Oathsworn Eye. It's an attack substat and has ER bonus for passive, so it could be handy for a burst support. And although I don't have them, you can also use the Blackcliff weapon for the crit stats or the Battle Pass weapon for the same reason. They have crit damage and crit rate respectively, so you may have to play around each of their passives to get the extra stats. Also, special mention to the Hakushin Ring. From the Inazuma quest, you can get the blueprint of this, so you can use this the same way with the Mappa weapon. Make sure that you're using Yae with elemental reaction rich teams to make sure that you're getting the passive bonus. Now, her best 4-star has to be the Widsith. So, although it's a gacha weapon, you may have it or you may not have it, or maybe you have R1 or R2 and not maxed. Overall, I'd still recommend it because all its passives are usable on Yae, plus the fact that the substat is crit damage, so this gives you an easy building process on her artifacts. Now, of course, like I always say, 5 stars are generally better, but this time, not all of them. So, let's go through each of them one by one. First is the Lost Prayer. Of course, this is great for its crit substats and elemental damage passive. Artifacts would be easy to build around. Then Skyward Atlas has bonus attack and elemental damage bonus as well, but make sure that you weave in normal attacks to gain the passive. And of course, the weapon designed for her, Kagura's Verity. This utilizes Yae's kit, giving her high crit damage substat with stacks of elemental damage bonus every time that she activates her skill. Now, if you have none of these 5-star weapons, I'd still recommend Widsith, and Widsith only probably, or maybe go to the other crit substat weapons. This is my Yae Miko, by the way. So naturally, as a DPS, your focus would be on attack percent Sands, electro damage bonus on Goblet, and crit rate or crit damage on Circlet. So that depends on your weapon or your overall stats. Now, her generalist set would be 2-piece Thundering Fury with a plus 18% attack 2-piece set, or a 4-piece Gilded Dream set because of the stat that it gives you. But between these two options, go with the one that gives you overall better stats. And if you're like me, who has these great or decent enough artifacts, my advice would be to stick to them rather than farm new ones. But that depends on, your account. If you want to maximize the domain, if you're farming for the Deepwood as well. So yeah. Anyway, other options, 4-piece Thunder Soother as long as you can keep the Electro application, or 4-piece Emblem if you want to get the highest possible burst damage. Mind you, you'll be sacrificing your turret damage with this. And I've also seen some folks who use 4-piece Tenacity. Of course, the buff would definitely be present for your team overall, but I don't want to do that to Yae myself, so that's just a preference. And for the players below AR45, please check out my other guides on artifact farming and resin efficiency. Don't trouble yourself with these set pieces yet. You can use any of the 4-star artifacts you get from, the bosses and the overworld. You can mix and match 2-piece sets of the Berserker, Braveheart, Sojourner, or the Gambler. Alright, Constellations. I generally don't recommend pulling for Constellations, especially 5 stars, since at C0 most of them are already great enough. And personally, I could say the same with Yae Miko. This is probably because of how, again, personally, because of how underwhelming they are when compared especially with Raiden. But that's Raiden, so let's be honest. And then again, naturally, her cons unlock higher damage ceilings. So C1, this gives Yae an energy cashback, like quote-unquote, every time you use her burst properly. So that's with having a turret destroyed. You get 8 energy for each, so ideally that's 24, and your energy requirement would effectively be reduced from 90 to 66. And then C2 enhances Yae's turret's level by 1, so this also gives them a wider range. So yeah, still very useful, especially in the Abyss when some mobs are going far away from you. And of course, C3 and C5 plus 3 levels on her burst and skill. And C4 is supportive in a way, although it also affects Yae. All party members get plus 20% more electro damage. And then finally, C6, her turrets will ignore 60% defense. Now, this is really strong, but not if you compare it with, like I said, with Raiden's C2. And at C2, you get the same effect when you're in Raiden's burst. So yeah, getting Yae's Constellation would really vary per player, how much they love her, of course, so that would be your decision. But my personal advice is to not get her cons, especially for our budget or free-to-play goats out there. Like I said, a lot has changed since Dendro was introduced, and that has opened up a lot of possibilities, especially for electro units like Yae Miko. So let's start with my personal favorite, Yae with Raiden, Bennett, and Kazuha. It's a little quick swappy type, so you play around Yae and Raiden, keeping Bennett's burst up time as well as Kazuha's for the resistance shredding. You can also replace Kazuha with either Zhongli or Thoma for the shield, or replace Bennett with Dayona to, get both shield and heals, and then with Kazuha. You can do the same, but Electro Charge team, replace Raiden with Ayato or Child, and use Kokomi, Kuki, Beidou, Fischl, or even Barbara, and Kazuha or Venti. Then you can let Ayato or Child be the driver, swap to your other characters while their skill is on cooldown. And if you want an explosive team, you can go with an off-field burst DPS Yae, of course, with either Klee, Yanfei, or Yoimiya as your main DPS. So of course, you're gonna pair them with Bennett or Kuki for the healing, with Thoma or Zhongli as shielders. And of course, the current buzz is Yae Miko with the recently released Nahida. You're gonna get a lot of quicken and aggravates here, so you just need to pair them with one more Electro or Hydro for Bloom and Hyper Bloom. So that would work really well now because you don't have to worry about a healing spot in your party, because we already have Kuki, who's an Electro and can heal, and of course we have Barbara or Kokomi as your Hydro units and the Plier. And if you have one more spot, you can slot in an Anemo for resistance shredding or a shielder, so that's up to you. I generally wouldn't recommend Yae as an Electro applier like Fischl, but you can if you like, and run that with whatever team that you want. Now, I feel like that's a lot, but honestly, since Yae isn't like other DPS characters that, take up too much time on the field, you can properly adjust with her kit. So what matters with Yae is that you don't force having her burst up every single rotation, because even with a full Raiden energy-rich team comp, you might end up wasting your DPS time waiting for that 90 energy cost to be full. And with all that, please comment down below what you think about Yae Miko. Do you already have her? Or are you skipping her? Or are you one of the goats who waited for a long time for her rerun? So comment down below for a chance to win this video's welcome giveaway. The winner will be announced in the next video I upload, so watch out for that. And of course, like before, the prize will be given away via Codeshop. So I might have to ask, of course, your UID. So yeah, thanks everyone for your continuous support. Please like and share the video. It would really help me out, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.
Yo.